or this Artifact Nike Dunk Spaces. We're going to be talking a lot about the latest drop that is coming up with the forging event, and then we're going to kind of get into the backstory of how this legendary shoe came about. I think we're missing one person that just joined, and we'll be able to get right into it. But let's go to the well-known faces that we got up on stage already. I see Mr. Rtfkt himself has got the hand up. So what's going on, Clegg? We'll go to you first.
Oh, that was an accident, but sure, I'll start. What's up, everybody? It's been a long time since we've been on Spaces. This feels actually unreal. I'm super excited. I couldn't sleep that night, waiting to speak to everybody here.
Yeah, it's always
Yeah.
good to hear you guys' voice. Tommy, go ahead and introduce
No,
yourself.
I was just gonna introduce the next one because I know we got a lot of new listeners and new holders in the community. And then next up we got Benoit. What's up, man?
Yeah, thank you, Tommy. For me, especially, it's been a very long time I joined a space because you guys always do them at 4 a.m. for me. And even though I don't sleep much and I play lots of video games, 4 a.m. is quite a stretch. So happy to be back. And yes, I still have my amazing French accent. I didn't lose it.
Thank you. You want to do the next one?
Vas-y.
Yeah, Zaptio.
What's good? What a great week it's been for Rtfkt, seeing everyone getting their shoes, and this space I think is super interesting and it's going to be a great time. So we're stoked for the ride.
Sweet. I'm excited to have you guys here. It's always cool when the three-headed dragon comes together. But we also got a few special guests, which are super cool people themselves. So let's throw it to Tiffany first. Tiffany, how's it going?
Hey everyone, this is Tiffany. Good to be here. My first official time on Spaces, so excited to be here.
Tiffany, we're going to come right back to you in like 5 seconds. So I'm glad you're here, but keep the mic ready. That's all I got to say.
All right.
let's start to Derek as well. Derek, how are you doing today?
Doing well. Hello, everybody. I'm Derek, first time on Spaces as well, and first time on this Rtfkt community chat. So thank you for the warm welcome.
Love it. And so why don't we go ahead and just get into your guys' background? Tiffany, we'll start with you. Do you mind telling us what you do with Nike and how you met the Rtfkt crew?
Yeah. So my official title for Nike, I'm on the Nike side. So I'm the Senior Principal Program Manager for Rtfkt Footwear, and footwear specifically. So I've been with Nike for 17 years now. It's crazy. I can't believe that it's already been 17 years, but yes, been here for 17 years and primarily in the footwear development space. So for all of you guys that aren't familiar with what footwear developers do is we work with design here at Nike. So that means footwear, color, material, product management, who are experts in the consumer space, costing, product engineers, and so forth at Nike. But another really important partnership is that we work with our factory partners in Asia. So developers make sure that our factory partners ensure like the design intent, construction. We go back and forth on making samples to make sure that everything's just right before production. So before working with Rtfkt, I was most recently in performance basketball. So working on signature models for Giannis Antetokounmpo, KD, and most recently Kobe.
Dang, I recognize a few of those names. Those are
That's pretty
cool ones.
that's pretty insane.
Yeah.
But I have a question. Since the space is about the newest Dunk Genesis, could you kind of share an insight like how working on this model and the previous Dunk model, like what was the difference? I mean, Z, you're always like Z or Chris. You guys are always open to share.
So the difference between working on Dunk Genesis, I think what's really, really fun working with the Rtfkt team is they're always looking to push the boundaries. They're they want to use new innovations to serve their community. And for the Dunk Genesis, that meant like the built-in modularity, the all-over lenticular brand new material that we developed. And so, yeah, they're always looking to push those boundaries to serve this community. So that's been really fun and something different working with Rtfkt.
Love it. Let's hear from Derek. Derek, do you mind giving us your background and what it was like meeting the Rtfkt team and working with them?
Yep. So I've been at Nike for 10 years now. Again, it's just kind of flown by. I started my career here in Nike basketball, and that's kind of where I met Tiff. Also had the opportunity to work on all the signature models, as well as the Adapt shoes. So the Adapt BB1 and 2, the Fear Gods, the list goes on and on. It's been a wild ride here for sure. But before Nike, I was actually in aerospace. So I studied mechanical engineering in college, started designing some airplane parts, and then decided, you know what, I like shoes better. So made the jump over to the swoosh and haven't looked back ever since. First time meeting these Rtfkt dudes, let me just say, they are a wild bunch. And I mean that in the best way possible. Like, their minds are just super different compared to the normal designers that we work with here. Focused on this community all day, every day. And so that really comes across in their design aesthetic, kind of how they brief in these products, and how we set up to work. So yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm the principal product developer for Rtfkt. I guess that was important.
Derek, you had me sold at made airplanes and then converted to shoes.
No, but also,
right.
also they are the ones
I
who
was
made
gonna
all the Air Force Ones that everyone is receiving now, like all of that as well.
Yeah,
And
that was
then
the first time I got to get involved with this group, is just helping out, creating those Air Force Ones and bringing those to life. That was super fun.
Yeah, and from our side, it's been a completely amazing experience working with Tiffany and Derek. And apart from Tiffany and Derek, there's a whole other team with like Joseph, Alex, Tyler. And I think what's been amazing is we don't come from traditional Nike world, and they're always willing to sort of experiment with us on wild ideas. And whenever we come up with something crazy, even at the last minute, they've always been willing to make it work. So for us on our side, working with such a specialist team who are veterans in the Nike space has been like a dream experience. And we're excited people have started receiving the Air Forces and seeing the quality and the material. So it's been great.
Like Derek, you were saying it's kind of we're different, we're crazy to meet and work with, all that, but it's like it's the same goes for you and your team too, because when we meet physically at the offices, when we're in that room, that whole world of like physical materials and everything is so alien to us. Like it literally feels, this is probably what you feel like when you're working with us. And it's the same. It's like the reverse Uno card for you and your team. So I just want to put that out there. You and your team, Tiffany, you are crazy. If you, like everybody in the spaces right now, if you seen how the production process goes behind this, you would be in awe.
And just to add to that, to continue this like love fest, I agree. Like our collaboration is just, it's on point. It's so fun to be able to, everyone's global. Rtfkt team lives everywhere in the world, and to be able to come together and work, Rtfkt, Nike, it's just like we're one team, and the trust that we've built between all of us, I think is unreal, and it really shows in the product. So it's been a lot of fun.
Following up on Clegg mentioning the process, Tiffany, do you mind giving us one of your favorite parts, or Derek, did you guys mind giving one of your favorite parts of like this development process?
One of the highlights for me was when the team came to Beaverton, to the Nike campus over the summer. because like I said, everyone's just located everywhere across the world, and having everyone in one physical location in one space. And I think it was only over across 3 days that we were all together, but we were all together in one room. Everyone was super excited, really engaged. We had samples in front of us, we had materials in front of us, we walked through campus to get inspiration. It was a lot of fun, but we were so productive at the same time. And that's why we're getting the samples that we're getting now, is because of that really, really key in-person meeting that we had.
Yeah, and I've really enjoyed just how this team allows everyone involved to be creative, and they really allow us to open up the aperture for like material exploration. So we've gotten to do a lot of things that we normally don't get to try out or see or sample or even execute. So it's been a dream. It's been really fun, fun process here.
Yeah, I want to double down on that. It's like every time we have our sneaker meetings, we all have a lot of fun, but get stuff done. And I think it's been like a perfect fusion of teams, like Tiffany said. And I think for us, we see sneakers as a fun thing, and being able to creatively explore that in a way where like anything is possible, with some limitations, obviously. But it's been great.
All right, I got a question for the founders. So yeah, Chris mentioned that when they're at the campus, it was really eye-opening to see all the materials and all that. So I kind of wanted to ask you guys, how was the process of from the concept to the physicals, and also like this unique material choices on these 3 colorways?
I think Chris, you can cover a bit of the design process
Yeah.
of the shoe.
So when we first joined Nike, we're super excited to work on our first project, and Dunk was one of the things that we were super excited to work on and bring to fruition. And we also wanted to bring in the look of Rtfkt, because our whole thing is, when we started Rtfkt, we thought of ourselves as this like cyberpunk modifications enhancement crew. Like if you played Cyberpunk, like you can go get upgrades and everything. We saw ourselves as that company in the future where we can take sneakers and artifactify it, modify it, make it look cooler, enhancements, modifications. So that's how the concept came to be. We try to basically take what the dunk looks like right now, and what it would look like 40, 50 years from now. And what a lot of people don't know this, but I design sneakers, but I have no knowledge at all with the physics of it. Because my thing is, as long as it looks really, really, really cool, that's all I care about. I'm very aesthetic based. That's because my background comes from video games and like film and VFX. And in those worlds, we don't have like physics. We don't have earth rules. So when we started working with Nike, it was really interesting to start to learn about the process, and how to get digital to physicals made. And we also brought in, I'm not sure she's in this call right now, but we have a really talented artist on our team named Rasa. She's a huge expert in reading my mind and taking my designs and converting them into physical 3D designs for the Nike team. But from that process, sitting down with Tiffany and Derek, I was able to learn so much about how this process is done. And it was, at first I thought it was going to be impossible to take, the gaming look we always have at Rtfkt and make it real, because we tried to do that before Nike, where we're 3D printing parts, sticking them on sneakers, in our little workshop in London with Z. But to work with Derek and Tiffany on this process and figure out how to make this into reality was such an amazing thing to witness and go through.
Yeah, and then just to add on to that, I think the process after Chris came up with the design, he passed it to Rasa, who created like a very accurate 3D model. which really helped sort of the sampling process. And in terms of the materials, it was a collaborative effort. Toby from our side has a lot of experience designing physical product, and he teamed up with Joseph and Alex from the Nike material side, and it was just a fun creative process of let's see like what hasn't been used and kind of experiment. And it was a group decision on all the things. And I think one thing that made this process so fun is we aligned on decisions very quickly. It wasn't like any arguments or disagreements. It was an even kind of suggestion. People accepted things and we moved on. So the whole process from like design to the actual production was very fun end to end. I think Derek and Tiffany, do you have anything to add to that kind of initial development stage?
Dude, shout out Rasa.
Yes,
Oh
I
my
was going to
gosh.
say the same thing, Rasa. I hope she's on this call. If not, she needs to, get all the love here because, honestly, she has such this unique experience with her footwear background, with her 3D background, like the tech pack that we sent to Asia to the factory partners to get Dunk Genesis started. They have never received a tech pack like that. It was so dialed and had all the information they needed, and we were able to do things really quickly. And it stems from Rasa's work. So huge shout out to her.
No, for sure.
Yeah, hopefully we can have her on, talk about these one of these days. But one of the follow-up questions and related to this, there's talks about inventing materials, and there's been some really, really crazy, unique material choices on these colorways. How did you guys go through deciding on those as you have like this process of kind of vetting and figuring things out, and also working as a team on what looks best?
I'd put it in the sense of like we're like kids in a candy store. We have slightly different budgets because we see our sneakers as like collectible art pieces. So we told the team like, show us the craziest things that we can play with, and then the materials team just came back with just wild things. And some of the materials we experimented with Air Force Ones, like the lenticular, we thought was huge. So on the Dunk Genesis, we wanted to bring that back, and the team helped us actually develop a new lenticular. So it's a completely new material that was developed just for this sneaker. But I remember the kind of in-person meetings where they brought out these boards with the craziest. They look like alien fabrics. It's stuff that I personally have never seen, even like the Vanta Black on the Air Forces. And for us, we always want to do something new and different. So just having that opportunity to be given like a catalog of crazy stuff and just to have fun with it was really, really awesome.
Derek, Tiffany, any thoughts on developing new materials? I feel like for a lot of us out here that aren't sneakerheads, like it's a process we can't even imagine.
For sure. And Joseph and Alex did a killer job on this material, built from the ground up. So talking to the Rtfkt guys, they wanted that lenticular look, the color shifty look, but they wanted it a little bit more micro, a little bit more detailed. And so kicking this development off with the vendors was a pretty lengthy process. Again, nothing like this had been done before, especially with the combination of molded borders and graphics and applications. I think at the end of all this, the material goes back and forth between like 5 or 6 different processes. Usually a material only goes through one of these processes. So it's really this high-tech one-piece micro lenticular upper that we're bringing to you guys on this Dunk Genesis. And it's just, I've never seen anything like this before. It's got this really intriguing blue, purple, gray shimmer to it that's shiny in some lights and then matte in others. Really, really unique.
That way it doesn't look over the top, right? That's like one of the things we wanted to, because sometimes
that's right.
Shiny. This is a shoe that you can wear with anything, especially the OG colorway.
And yeah, it looks really great in hand. You guys are just gonna have to trust me on that one.
Oh,
And then
one thing to
what
add, you should talk a little bit about these really cool laces that we're all excited about. Because when I try to explain it to people, all I can say is it feels like a very dry, like warm in my hands. Like, but that's all I can say. But it feels very alien to me when I have these laces in my hand. But if you could
Chris,
just
is
kind
that
of
you trying to get people to buy that lace? It's like as a
no, I'm just
worm.
really excited about those laces. That's like one of my favorite features.
Yeah, so the space lace, again, brand new development. It's a really unique lace pattern that's fully coated in this grippy silicone material. It was originally thought to kind of keep your laces tied for longer, to stay tied, and so you can go about your day and not have to worry about it. But when you apply it to the entirety of the lace, it really gives this cool, interesting, alien-like skin texture to it. And then I'm not sure if it's been communicated out, but there is a second lace in the box. Am I allowed to talk about that?
you can talk
Whoa,
about it.
you can, but
Ooh,
You
some
that's
just
new
did,
alpha.
Derek.
information.
Oh
Okay,
shoot!
you're
That's new
first on my
information.
spaces.
Whoa.
All right, so
He's
there's a
real
second lace in the
artifact guy
box.
now, like leaking stuff. Yes.
Yep.
Oh my
I
gosh!
mean, go
Don't
for
tell
it.
my
You already,
boss.
You already did.
Yeah, so it's a fully reflective lace to kind of match the aesthetic of the rest of the upper. The choice is yours, which one you want to rock. I hope you guys will like it.
100%.
Anything
And it's
else?
like,
No, and
no,
also just on the lace, me, I just have a little story because I know when they were discussing the laces and they're expensive laces, and I asked like, okay, as anyone did these laces before, like, and said no, no one can put such expensive things or like do these things. I said, okay, let's do it, like, just to be sure we have the best even in the laces. So just to say a bit the mindset there was around developing these dunks is that everyone wanted to do the best possible and also experiment in a very short time but super efficient time thanks to the team synergy. And me, I know nothing about sneaker making, but when I got in some meetings with the Nike sneaker team, we got like it's a small team, but just like the Rtfkt team, it's a small team, but they're all fucking good at what they do, and they're all worth like 10 people. So it's been really amazing to work with experts with all the same mindset of making the best we can with this crazy design that initially was just a digital design, but now is coming into real life.
one thing I wanted to add is every detail of the shoe has been thoroughly thought out. Joseph and Toby came up with the kind of storytelling between supernatural as the OG and natural as the void, and the types of materials used on both of them differ. And I think another cool part is as we were developing the shoes, the Nike team would come up and present ideas to sort of take the vision even further. And I think a cool one to kind of touch on is the unibody. So like we got a sample back, and I think Derek proposed like, "Hey, why don't we switch to a unibody?" And we were kind of like, "What's that?" And then learnt about it, and then we implemented it. But Derek, could you touch on the kind of unibody construction and what that means to people who don't really know?
Yeah, we're bringing the physics out here, Z. Chris, pay attention. There's going to be a test later.
Thank you.
Yeah, so normally when you think about a dunk, it's a multi-layer pieced together pattern. For the Dunk Genesis, the OG colorway, we really wanted something that was a bit more futuristic. Again, like what would the dunk of the future look like? And in the future, we might not want to piece together these materials and stitch them together in old-fashioned ways. And so we decided to merge all those panels together to give it a more seamless look. And then to kind of hint at the heritage of the dunk, we kept the molded design lines in terms of the border. So a lot of those features carry over to the void, and the void kind of goes back to something a little bit more traditional, goes to that multi-piece construction, but goes a little bit more natural, right? We got supernatural and natural, and the void features this really beautiful, like washed black canvasy upper but also has those borders molded in, but this time it's bio-based. So again, leaning more into the natural space, wanting to draw some differences between these first two colorways.
Derek, I gotta ask a very simple but obvious question. Which is your favorite colorway?
Oh man, you can't do that to me, man.
It's like
I
asking
love
him
them
to
both.
pick his favorite child. You cannot do
No,
this.
I love them both. You know, I think the OG, that's like a weekend shoe. That's pretty special looking. I think the Void is, maybe on Monday, and then the other colors on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
That Derek Z's got the forging pattern for it. So I think I think
Yeah,
some
he,
people
he had
might
it. He
rock
had
that.
it for the rest of his life. Yeah.
There you go.
But we've gone for about 30 minutes. We're gonna keep it going for another 30. Shout out to everybody listening. If you don't mind just retweeting and sharing the space so others can jump in and hear this. But we are gonna have this recorded so everybody can check it out after. I think there's quite a few more questions we want to get through because you guys are
Yeah.
very popular. One question I wanted to ask, switching it up a little bit, Chris, when it comes to the vials, I think there's been some questions about, the evolution of the skin vials and what that might look like. Do you mind giving us some insight?
Yeah, so that's still going full force. Very excited about that. We've been working very hard with the team to create the evolutions. But this is something that we're gonna drop soon. Very excited for everybody to experience what we've been cooking up in the lab. But yeah, you're gonna be able to use all of your digital sneakers to the other evolutions, and the other evolutions are insane. Like every single one of the evolutions, wow! Especially Takashi's. Like, I can't wait for the community to see the Takashi Murakami evolution dunks, which is wow.
One thing to add to that is like Chris is a person who always pushes limits. Like when we ask Chris to design physical shoes, he creates stuff that's like could be impossible. So when you brief Chris to like design a purely digital crazy shoe, he's going 130%. So some of these shoes are insane, and I think it's
Yeah,
really
there's
cool
no
to have.
no Earth rules, dude. Exactly.
Yeah, no
That's
Earth
my
rules.
vibe.
That's where Chris thrives.
Let this man into space, and he will do some cool stuff. Uh, Talking about the vials, Z, do you mind touching on how the skin vials link from the digital to the physical, or?
Yeah, I think the main concept we had with them is like we wanted to fuse the digital and physical, and like I mentioned, Chris went so crazy where some of these can't be produced now, but maybe in 5, 10 years from now. So we came up with the concept of forging the vial. So it's say like if you have a Murakami Evolution 3, you can forge that physical vial and clip it onto your physical sneakers. So when you're at like community events and people who see that you have that vial, they know that you own that NFT. So it's an extra layer of customization, and that's something that was really big for this sneakers, the modularity. We kind of wanted to create a base where people can build 3D mods and customize them, and I think the vial is a very cool salute to the evolutive digital sneakers, and being able to flex that physically, I think, is pretty awesome.
Which I think this is a good question for potentially Tiffany or Derek in relation when it comes to the modular stuff and all these vial clip-ons and etc. We've seen some of the ambush shoes out there, but I feel like this is still so much different than what they have done. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on helping like, craft this modular system.
Yeah, for this one, we really wanted to keep that modularity like simple and keep that base like really easy to work with. So we came out with a platform that really enables 3D printing. So the idea being that this amazing community would be able to look at these mods, look at the base and the interaction between the mod and the shoe, and then design their own. So there are 2 attachment points, one on the heel, one on the tongue, and they're simple kind of slotted construction that should be easy to 3D print around. And we had that kind of front and center in our minds. We wanted to be able to make sure that 3D printers of all different, levels and resolutions could print around this base. So.
And
that,
just to
sorry,
add
go
on
ahead.
to that, just to add on to that really quickly, I think the way that the shoe is constructed and how these the clips were constructed, it's still very wearable. We're doing wear testing right now, and it still feels really, really good on foot. So one thing to keep in mind.
Oh, I'd like to add something too. This is a little tiny bit of alpha, but I think it's okay. I saw a comment so Harlan, he did a really cool post yesterday where he showed the sneaker with and without the modifications, and he removed the eyelet off, and that's something we're working on as well, being detachable, which is going to be really cool. So that way, that's even customizable with the 3D printed parts.
Yeah, it's super modular. I think one thing I wanted to flag is like it was a very funny experience seeing Chris working with the Nike team because he would just model something and he'd be like, "Hey, would this work?" And they'd go back and do calculations and come back to Chris being like, "Edit this by this amount." So it was kind of like a really cool collaborative effort to actually figure out this clip system. That is a completely new development. It's not like we just took an existing bolt system or something and really had the community in mind where we can provide the files for the clips and they can go crazy with it. So I can't wait to see people create stuff and clip them onto the shoes.
Yeah, I think I've already put some requests out to some community members. So I've seen some crazy 3D artists mocking stuff up. So very excited to see where that goes. But just on that topic, Ben or Z, what do you guys think this will do for the creator economy? I know it's a topic very common in our world.
I'm just quick. Sorry, I'm eating candies at the same time. So, but I think what's great is first also the shoe looks great without the mods. But I think it's really important that we made it more as a platform so that people can co-create on it and do their own versions, but in an easy, plug and play way. And we've seen in our community we have amazing 3D printers, and you'll see as well when we do the actual public launch, like we're doing some of that story in the marketing we planned around it. But it's really important, I think, to really embrace that because we started as with a modern mindset, as Chris said, on how we treat sneakers to enhance them. And we thought that, that one that is actually the first shoe we really developed from scratch with the expertise of Nike and this amazing team to make it so that we make the first stone and that it becomes, something on its own that the community can co-create on and use as a platform.
Yeah, it's going to be super sweet to see. I think we've seen a lot of good examples of how the Rtfkt community members go out and just add to what's happening here. One question I wanted to follow up on because it has to do with some of the things that we're seeing delivered currently. The AF1s came in these beautiful, beautiful boxes. They were, even I think Clegg mentioned in one of his comments, but these things do look metal and they're not. But one of the questions someone had is if we can expect to see some cool boxes like that for the dunks, or if you could even give the backstory on how those were made.
Yeah, so this is one of my biggest pride and joys. Coming from the video game art space. So when we first started Rtfkt, again, we were always trying to figure out how to make my little silly, crazy creations come to reality. And it was, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's very hard because of all like the mech pieces. Because we're huge fans of like Gundam Wing, Evangelion, and a bunch of like cyberpunk IPs that have that kind of art we love and adore. So the best method, and we tried this out first on sneakers, was that we took a concept, or not a concept, but like a method of baking details. So if you looked at World of Warcraft or a lot of the older games before game engines got advanced, people were always trying to bake fake lighting and fake details onto geometry to make it look more detailed than it actually is. So we thought, why can't we just do that with these sneakers and start, printing or baking lighting? Like the way we set the lighting up is we try to create a light setup that's more natural to the world. So when you hold the sneaker in different environments, it trips you out because it looks like it's detailed, but in reality, upon closer inspection, it's all printed on flat panels. So we took that same concept and put it on the box. We wanted to have the box give the illusion, and it's working too, because like yesterday when everybody's posting their AF1 pictures, the boxes looked heavy, clunky, like metal video game crates in everybody's photo, and that's exactly what we're going for. To create the illusion and to blend realities together. So upcoming with the Dunk boxes, you can expect something like that for sure.
And one thing I wanted to add is some Rtfkt history. Chris initially did that with we had a very early Apex Legends collab where we made, I think, 5 pairs where the full uppers were in that style. And that was the first time we had the kind of Apex Rtfkt box. So when the opportunity came to create the Dunk, we're like, Chris, you need to bring that back in a big way. And that box is going to be the main Rtfkt box for all of our footwear, maybe some different color variations. And the Nike team actually came up with the idea of, because we wanted them to be like display cases, and they suggested having like a see-through window. So that way people can put their shoes in it and still see them if they have a lot of pairs. So the box, every little detail is thoroughly thought out and a very premium experience.
Yeah, the team, they were like, okay, for the text, the type on the box, and even the bolts or the holes, those should be, is it spot gloss? They made up spot gloss so that also it sells the effect better. So that's why in like a lot of the AF1 pictures that were posted yesterday, it blended with the lighting of everyone's background quite well, because those elements reflected the actual real world lighting, which is it blended together quite well and nicely with the fake 3D printed detail on the box.
All the details just for a box. Just for a box. Gotta love it. That's just the Rtfkt way, though. I think it's a good question to kind of follow up with, because you guys have come a long way. And Chris, we've seen some of like the early sketches that you would put out essentially of things like the Dunks. What's it been like for all you guys to see this go from just, pure 2D idea to realization in hands?
Oh, unreal. Again, this has been a long dream of ours, ever since the inception of Rtfkt. It's pretty crazy to see. And, initially we thought we couldn't pull off something like this where we'd have actual, we don't have to even do the fake technique I was talking about before. Now we're actually making real attachable parts that go into the sneaker. Our dreams have been accomplished with this.
Yeah, and I think my favorite experience was actually yesterday. I think like developing the shoes was a dream, coming from like a sneakers background and actually making these shoes. But to see people actually receive them and see all the tiny details that we put in was super rewarding. And I feel exactly the same way about the Dunk. Like, we've all seen it, we've been working on it, but I think when people get them in hand and on feet, like the Air Forces, it's just going to be huge for the whole Rtfkt community.
Benoit might be so shocked still, or he might be eating some candy that he doesn't want to.
No. But I mean, so maybe it's a good segue, because honestly, it's been really amazing, and still, keeping it, it's all on Miro, on emails, on WhatsApp. Like it's still a bit gangsta, Rtfkt mode, like and quite fast. I think this is pretty fast, like for normal standards to develop almost a new silhouette like that. But I think the process, it was so interesting, and especially really working because we know as well in our community we have a lot of people who are very creative, very curious, and who are doers, want to understand how things are made. So us, we learned a lot with that amazing team that we worked on for the dunk together, and that's what we prepared. You'll see, like, I think it's gonna go live later today. We prepared a little way for a specific website that we call the Dunk Files that is going to allow people to follow the journey from the inception, and also once the production starts, once the forging is done and the public sale is done and the made to order process is finished, so that people can follow a bit of the process, because that's a learning as well we got from what we did before. We know people want to see what's going on and understand and learn from that process. So we prepared a really cool website and experience, and with some insights and some Easter eggs and stuff that will be keep on updated with that website that normally should be live right now, but apparently there's a problem with Git or whatever, like some weird dev stuff. And so it will be like shortly after. We'll tweet it, but it's a really cool experience, because we wanted also for our community and for everyone to see for the first time a bit like what's the story and what are the steps to go from a 3D design and something completely from the imagination to an actual real shoe that's going to ship to thousands of people's house next year. So that's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, and just to add into that, it's like for us coming into this experience, like the product development journey was eye-opening, and there's so many details that I think people don't understand. So I think it's the first time where we're going to share the entire story and all the details. So for sneakerheads out there, I think it's a super interesting content piece and is very dynamic and updates often, like Benoit mentioned. But we're super pumped to tell this story and for everyone to see how much work actually goes into it. It's not just like digital sneaker print and done. There's so many moving pieces and so many amazing people who help bring this to life. So we want to make sure everyone gets to see the behind the scenes of that.
Love it. And I think this is a good question for Benoit on the same topic. With us Rtfkt having a complex con event coming up, and you guys talking about creating an experience so people can understand this journey. What's your opinion on bringing in a new audience to this Web3 space, or bringing Rtfkt to a new audience?
No, but I think it's very important, because that sneaker is really, I think, really exciting for the whole world of fashion and sneakers. It's amazing to see like that idea we had to be brought to life with the most expert people in sneaker we can find in the world with this team we have with Nike. So it's very important that it goes beyond just Web3 and just the village, as I was joking about before. But I think it's the opportunity for everyone, and I think everyone should also feel proud that they are going to be like at the inception of this, and really like early adopters of this. And it could be really the first shoe that goes way beyond Twitter and is appreciated and gives a glimpse of the future to a way bigger audience, and get that aesthetic that we have that is so Rtfkt mixed with an amazing Nike shoe out in the streets, and get people excited around what we do and the merging of worlds that we've been doing since day one. So very, very excited for the ComplexCon public sale and what we'll have then. We're also preparing something super cool physically in terms of experience at ComplexCon. So as usual, yeah, we're not sleeping around and preparing things that excites us first, and we always hope that if it excites us a lot, it's going to excite everyone.
He got too much heat. You hear the ambulances and fire alarms
Yeah, I see
coming?
that.
Yeah, there you go. Like,
Fire truck,
Paris,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, Z or Chris, do you guys want to share on like how we gonna do like some in real life stuff with the dunk and some like branding and marketing strategy?
I think people just need to wait and see. We always have some tricks up our sleeves. And I think the opportunity now is we focus this current forging event on our token holders. So our early community have been supporting the Dunk Genesis journey from inception. And then the phase 2 is more so ComplexCon and public sale. We believe it's a huge opportunity to broaden the Rtfkt community and allow people to purchase these shoes with credit card. So we're really excited about that. And that's how we developed the 3 colorways in mind, where you have the kind of the 2 that are specifically the Clone X and the OG for our token holders, and then the Void, which is also available to them. but we'll have a public sale component just to build the brand further than just the space. And I think from the Air Force's shipping this week, a lot of sneakerheads are asking lots of questions. My DMs are completely full of people trying to figure out how to purchase these OGs, and it's a great opportunity for the community to group together and help onboard people and walk them through the journey to actually acquire these products. And it's just a great time right now. So we're stoked, and we have a lot of things planned and cooking. So just stay tuned. And if you can make it to ComplexCon, you should come down. It's going to be great.
Yep. You know,
Yes, for
we don't
go ahead, Cass.
miss with Cass. What is this? We don't miss with the marketing. If you could come to ComplexCon, you will see. This is going to be very exciting. We're doing something new, so just please come check it out. It's going to be great.
Yeah, for those that don't know about ComplexCon, we actually will be at Long Beach, California on November 18 and 19. And ComplexCon is actually a street and culture convention, and will be a lot of different brands showcasing. And this time we'll be showcasing the Nike Dunk Genesis, and also have the Void colorway will be available for purchase on site.
And Tommy is the official ambassador of ComplexCon. So thanks for that great introduction.
I just wanted to make sure everybody, come and check out the shoes and, get it.
Speaking of shoes, I feel like it would be criminal for us to not ask the obvious question from the founders and Tiffany. We already got Derek, but let's get the favorite AF1 colorway and the favorite Dunks colorway. We'll start with Z because it's also like his children, I know, so he probably can't choose any.
Yeah, it's very hard. I think Air Force Ones, I'm not going to select one, but I think both Murakamis, just because all three of the founders were like, Takashi's our sensei. We love him. We're huge fans of him, and like to be the first to bridge the gap and bring him on a Nike silhouette, I think will stand the test of time. So I think those are just legendary. The aliens, we used new methods of like molded swoosh. So that one, and the reptiles, I think the full lenticular and the scarcity of it's insane. And then on the dunks, it's again very hard. They all have a unique element, but I think for me it would be the OG, just because it was the first Rtfkt Nike digital collectible ever released. So paying homage to that historic digital collectible, I think, is just amazing. But I think the Clone X pair as well is like really, really crazy. They're all dope though.
Yeah, for me, all of them are dope, but I'm just gonna bring up the humans because I'm more thinking about it on terms of what I would wear daily, and the humans for me is like my go-to if I wanted to start wearing them every day, scuff them up, get them dirty. But my second would probably be the Murakami ones for sure too, especially the DNA. It's just very meaningful, like what Z said, for us to get a collab with Takashi, and especially to have real physical Air Force Ones with Takashi collaborating on it is just very unreal. And for everybody who's not a sneakerhead, that's like one of the craziest things to accomplish, is to get that collab with Takashi on an Air Force One.
And Chris actually designed that DNA pair with Takashi. Like Takashi was sending him files and Chris was placing it. So I think
I was more of the collage master behind it.
You made it work, man. You cooked.
Thank you.
Ben, what's the favorite AF1 and Dunk colorway?
AF1, I think the reptile, because the lenticular is really crazy, and again, as we said before, like it's what also informed us developing a new lenticular for the OG Dunk. And the Genesis, the Venta Black, because they look really surreal. And it's always been something we try to do, like, because, when usually you do a digital shoe, you just use some iridescent stuff and that's it, So we really worked and really shout out like to Toby as well, who I don't know if he's in this space, to work with the materials, to really think, okay, what would be a material that really feels not from this planet. And I think the Venta Black and the Genesis, when you look at them, and I saw some people posting pictures yesterday and commenting that once you have them in hand, they really feel like you have a piece of a black hole, in your hand. So that's super. I really love these ones. And on the Dunks, I really loved, I mean, of course, the OG because of the history, but I think the Void, just because they're very, video gamey, the purple and the black. I love to wear black so far, and I see myself wearing them every day. So the OGs and the black, the Void.
Quick thing, big shouts to Toby. If you guys don't know,
Yeah.
director.
Huge shout
He was
out to
behind
Toby. Yeah.
the colorways of the Air Force Ones. He's behind the Void. His eye for color is amazing, and I wish the whole community. One day we'll probably release them, but there were other color options we had too that were pretty unreal for Dunk.
And also, if we're in shout out, we need to shout him out. We need to shout out Clone Low, that weird Twitter account that you guys see sometime. Yeah, honestly, shout out to him. Really amazing guy at Nike as well, working on all the innovation with us and pushing to get things done. Really a shout out to him.
Yeah, super cool to see you guys on that patent inventors, even though they got your location wrong, Ben.
Because actually I was in London. No, because I was in London when we did that. Actually, it was 2020, so they got it right. But yes, inventor, man. Yeah, that's cool.
Got to update the Twitter bios now. Professional inventors. But Tiffany, let's throw it to you for the last on the favorite colorways. You get to choose your favorite baby.
Yeah, so I think for the Air Force Ones, I got to go with the Murakami drips. Like that iconic graphic just speaks to me, means so much. And then with the Dunks, I have the OG samples sitting in front of me right now, and they're so good, so good. And I can't wait for all of you guys to be able to touch, feel, wear this shoe, because it's crazy.
Tiffany, how are you going to flex on us like that? She just said, I've got the sample in front of me.
Yeah, I got a sample in
front of me.
Yeah, well, I would love to just rug the spaces on that note, but I'll be a little bit more polite. I know this is your first spaces, so we appreciate you coming through. But this has been a great one, guys. We've gone for about an hour. I think we're probably going to wrap it up here in a few seconds. I'd love to just throw one last round of questions to everybody. Oh, wow. I think, did I skip over Derek on his favorite colorway options, or? Derek,
yes, you did.
Yeah.
Damn.
No.
Go ahead, Derek.
On the Dunks, like I said, I really can't choose. Working on all these, seeing them day in, day out, like I'm not going to pick one. But for the Air Force One, I will pick one. And big fan of Murakami, so the DNA really jumps out at me. Love that, clear kind of TPU blade on the medial side, and just the graphic underneath. It's amazing.
Derek, since I so clearly disrespected you and skipped over you, let's give you the start of the last round of questions, which, what's the thing that you look forward to the most when it comes to this collab between Rtfkt and Nike?
Oh man, just the blue sky thinking and the ability to chase after a bunch of things that we normally wouldn't get to do. So know that we're cooking up a lot of really interesting stuff in the background. The future is looking pretty bright.
Derek cooks. No, for real.
Yes. Let's go to Z. Z, you want to talk about like how people are comparing the render and the images that we posted today?
100%. I think from our side, we're like super stoked on the physical samples. We get them pretty often, and we make adjustments live to get the best experience. And this process has been amazing. And I've saw some people asking like, how close are they to the digitals? They're super, super close. And I think the sample leak we did today will show people a bit more of like how they look IRL. But one thing I'd like to highlight is the same thing happened on the Air Force One forging. A lot of people bought them without seeing the physicals, and there's a few people doubting them. And I see my whole feed today being like, damn, I wish I bought more. So one thing I just want to highlight is, the quality we're cooking up. You can see the Air Force Ones in hands now. Don't miss this chance, because when they ship, I think a lot of people will be sad that they didn't max forge or mint enough. So make sure you don't miss the forging deadline. I think we've got another 11 days of forging. So keep those reminders and do it sooner than later so you don't miss out.
Yeah, definitely.
If you manage to hold that space, Cass, with like your amazing voice for 5 more minutes, maybe I'll be able to tweet about the Dunkfights website while we're live. So hold it for 5 minutes, please.
Yeah,
I'm trying to tweet.
Cass,
Okay.
Cass, tell us a joke, dude.
Oh
Oh
man, I
man!
wasn't prepared.
Wow,
I
just
will
say you're
say,
wearing. Just say you're wearing your boots now.
oh man, look. I'm getting some Air Forces today if DHL doesn't rug me and they actually knock on my door. But I do want to, one comment I got to say, and I don't think I've been able to tell Ben, Chris, and Z, but one of my favorite things about working for the team sometimes is sitting in on some meetings and hearing them just like come up with ideas. And you can tell it's definitely just like three friends just crafting cool stuff together. So it is very cool to see y'all's relationship. So I didn't have a joke, but just wanted to give you guys praise and
Thank you,
how you guys
thank you,
built
thank
this.
you.
Yeah, we keep it fun. That's what allows the creativity to come out. I think if things feel like a job, it doesn't come out as great. But I think truly everyone on the team, especially on the Nike product development team, it seems like we all have fun when we do our calls and are always trying to bring something new out. So yeah, overall it's been like an amazing, enjoyable experience.
Yeah, I want to share too. Like, even though I have my sneaker, manufacturing background, like even seeing these things in real life, it's just, I don't know, man. It makes me want to buy more.
Yeah, one thing I don't know if we highlight, I think the dunk files when it comes out will tell the story in more depth. But even the team that we're working with now is quite small. I think there's like 7 people in total. And the amount of innovation that we've been able to achieve is, I think, insane. Like when you guys dig through the dunk files, you'll see, but we've been able to innovate at Nike. And I think being a small team and still being able to create impactful innovation like the NFCs or Ras's 3D models and the way we've developed these shoes super fast, I think is going to be one for the history books and wouldn't be possible without the Nike team supporting us and kind of pushing the vision forward.
Yeah,
Yo, can
Derek.
I ask like a
Z.
can I ask like a personal question to oh this okay. I was gonna ask a personal question, but I think Z, is the site live?
We're checking right now.
30 seconds, please. Almost.
Okay.
Benwell's got us on a
Can I
timer.
can I can I can I shoot my question? Because it's just like it's crazy that I know for Nike to allow Rtfkt to create a brand new outsole for the dunk. I think that's like a big step. I just wanted some insight, how is the process and
Yeah, I think maybe Derek or Tiffany could jump in. We kind of came with them with all our ideas, and they're the ones who formalized it and made it happen.
So, I mean, it really started in Chris's brain, just a simple sketch. Rasa came in to translate that into, manufacturability and physics that we abide to on this earth. And we just jammed it out and applied really unique textures and profiles to it. It's got a lot of depth. And we slid a little Zoom airbag in the heel unit just to improve the comfort a little bit. So, yeah, I think you guys will like it.
Derek, I was going to ask, do you mind just giving us a brief rundown on what that Zoom Air aspect is? And then we might get into some others because there are some people who had questions about the Zoom Air stuff.
Yeah, so Zoom Air is one of Nike's premier cushioning technologies. It's an airbag with tensile fibers, and what that means to you, the wearer, is that it's super responsive, super cush, gives you that all-day comfort, and gives you a little bit of extra bounce in your step if you're trying to, make it to that bus or that train. Yeah, it's my personal favorite cushioning technology, especially for other sports like basketball or running or football. Yeah, I love it, and I try to put it in everything I work on.
Hey, we love the comfy shoes, and I think we also love what just got posted. So if you check
Let's
the
go.
tweet at the top, you'll see
Yeah,
the
it's live. And
yeah.
again, shout out again to our team, like Alex, Jojo, Samuel, all the web team, like, because we always like to really have some fun on the microsites we do. You know, we did that with the Punks ones like a while ago, like the Connex one. So we always try when we have a new product that's exciting to come up with something new, even on the web experience, and to keep that, you know, brings that interactivity and not just have something that's static and just staying like that forever. So subscribe to the updates and follow. It's going to be very, very cool what we do there over the next few months. It's not a week thing, it's a month thing.
Yeah, and I think today's space was a little taster of some of the conversations that will be posted on there. And like Benoit mentioned, this is going to be a live updated forum going through from idea to development to even shipping. So very cool. And we think brands of the future will be sharing more. So it's a great step. And I think everyone's super pumped about it. So check it out.
Yeah, I think we'll probably end the space here. Make sure you check out the new website, subscribe. Make sure you follow Rtfkt page and our beloved three founders. And thank you, Derek and Tiffany. Make sure you guys follow them. And yeah, thank you guys for coming. You guys
Thanks
have
for
anything
Thank
else
having
you.
to
us.
say? Yeah.
Yep, thank you for having us. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in
Everyone.
too.
Thank you. It was cool.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Peace.
Okay, bye. See you later.
Bye.
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 Go forge some dunks.
And the Nikes on my feet keep my cipher complete. And the Nikes on my feet keep my cipher. My cipher complete. Nikes